And welcome everybody to the Banks and Tranks podcast. Today is a special interview with,
Daoud.
yes, we got the devil himself again.
Swag.
So you've kind of sported a new look today, I see.
A new look. You know, in 1979, when A New Hope was releasing, George Lucas, he told me they're gonna get you. They're gonna get the IRS. They will get you. But to this day, they haven't gotten me. They have not fucking gotten me.
Did you make that movie? I feel like we should talk about a movie that you did make.
I made a lot of movies. I made so many of them. Let's talk about any one of them that you would like.
Yes. So, the latest one, Hurry Up Tomorrow.
You want to talk about Mission Impossible? Yes.
Did you make? I don't think you were even credited on
Yeah,
that one.
I made. So this year I've made Mission Impossible. I've made. I made Thunderbolts.
Okay.
We talked about.
But
I have that somewhere in my notebook.
okay, but I'm more concerned with the movie that you did make, Hurry Up Tomorrow, with the Weeknd. Was a one of did you like? Were you happy with that product? I really wasn't. I would not say I was happy with that product.
I think you're mistaken.
Really? Because I saw like all those movies, like unlike the Oscar judges or whatever, but and I noticed in the credits, all of those movies did not see your name except for Hurry Up Tomorrow. It actually only had like 4 credits. It was
at least it's Oscar. It's Oscar nominated, right? That was just to figure out which ones you were going to nominate for the Oscar,
right.
Which I've won. Like some 120 of them or so.
You said like 600 last time. Like, can you keep your
600,
story straight?
600. That's how many I've won. I've won
you said
so
like
many.
300 of them were Chinese Oscars. Can you just like keep wanting your story straight? You're kind of the worst person on the planet.
Somebody told me this would be a excuse me. They told me this would be a softball interview, Donald Trump style. I don't understand this hostility towards me. Okay, but on the matter of Hurry Up Tomorrow, yes, I may have been a part of the production of Hurry Up Tomorrow. I wrote it. I directed it. I did the cinematography. I did the casting choices.
Why did you cast The Weeknd?
Well, that's a great question with a great story. In 2025 or 2024, they were like, okay, we're going to make this movie about The Weeknd. And I said, who better to play The Weeknd than The Weeknd? But they said, no, we have to still hold some auditions and shit. And then they were like, and so we did all the auditions, and there were some wonderful actors. Denzel Washington was in the running to play The Weeknd.
Actually, I heard you were considering playing him yourself.
I couldn't do that. I'm not black.
Well, I feel like a character that's good enough, like an actor that can act well enough, can portray any race.
So do you think a white man could be like Black Panther? Ryan Gosling?
If he was an amazing...
Ryan Gosling for Black Panther, everyone!
I think Ryan Gosling is an amazing actor. I think he could do it convincingly, so yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that we have it on record. And we know where you go to school.
Are you producing that movie, or...
Yeah, Black Panther with Ryan Gosling. I'm glad that you're talking about that and asking me about that because I
kind of did want to talk about Hurry Up Tomorrow again because it's sorry.
This
are
will
you
be
not happy? With
I'm
that
not
project?
happy because this will be the first movie that I made that sucks.
You know what?
Sorry. Wait. Can we cut that? I didn't mean to say that. I just had a little outburst.
Yeah, Jajamathan, just take that part out. But anyways, I watched the movie, and about like a third of the way through, I kind of forgot I was watching a movie. I kind of felt like it was more like watching like nothing, like kind of like I was just staring into the abyss. Kind of. So like, how did you you make such a terrible, like, horrific vibe out of that? I just don't understand. I just don't understand how you...
The actors were wonderful. Jenna Ortega, Barry Queergan.
Uh-huh.
The other ones... Wait, were there any other characters?
I was actually about to say the cast, it was really easy to spot your name because there was only like 5 people working on this movie.
Right.
And one of them was Jamathan.
Yes, Jamathan was on the editing of this film.
Okay, you're usually good at editing.
Yeah, the editing. I have to say, Jamathan, you didn't do a great job with the final edit on this one.
Good on the movie.
I don't know what was going on.
The part where half of the Weeknd's face turns into half of Jenna Ortega's face, and I'm just like, what is this mutant in her mouth? Like, I didn't understand. Was there like an artistic vision behind this movie, or is this just like a tax write-off movie? I'm seriously confused.
So in this film, the story. We're still working that out. We're still figuring out what the story is.
But it's out. I saw it in theaters.
We're still
How is the story not done yet? It's the movie is completed.
We're still working it out.
Isn't done. Okay. Is it gonna come up in the music video?
It's gonna be a DLC. The plot is gonna be like a DLC you get, and it's like something you can read on your e-reader or
okay. So there's gonna be like a book or maybe podcast.
It's gonna be an ebook.
There's going to be an ebook tie-in and maybe like a podcast
it'll be like a 5-page PDF describing
maybe
filling in the gaps.
Maybe like a graphic.
So I just had a wonderful time directing some of these scenes. I think one of my favorite scenes is this scene when the Weeknd he's so upset and he's so sad and he's sitting against this beam, and then his boy toy Barry Queergan comes in, and he said, fuck it, mate. You hear this outside? You're not a regular person. You're actually a god, mate. You gotta let go."
I was actually kind of wondering, like, I noticed that there was a lot of, like, queer, I wouldn't call it subtext, maybe, like, dom text. There was a lot of queer dom text in the film, but I was a little bit confused why nothing was explicitly confirmed.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm just surprised that they didn't get married.
People get confused. They hear the accent and they think, "Oh, this guy is gay." It happens all the time. It's happened on this podcast with Sahib.
Oh, Sahib, yeah.
Yeah. It's happened with Sahib, and people they struggle. They hear the accent. They think, "Oh, this guy is gay." They see him like touching the hair. There's nothing gay about it. There's nothing gay. It's not gay. It's okay. I was kind of wondering, like, is this one of your like fantasies? Like you're trying to write it. You like
there's
no
Weeknd.
fantasy.
It's like kind of something where it's like I just don't really understand.
Let's move on. So one of my favorite parts.
I feel like I'm like very much on the offense right now.
We've talked a lot about the Weeknd.
I don't really understand why you would be doing this with the movie, and like it just doesn't make any sense.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Oh my god. Like are you just like don't you get it? Like this is me being nice right now.
Are you referencing the movie? Actually, I saw that
scene.
Oh my god, that scene was an amazing.
Yeah, so I actually trained the Weeknd to do that scene.
Wow.
And I did a great job. The Weeknd?
No, that was one of the only. He was a terrible actor for 98% of the film, but that one part, I was like, this guy has some acting chops.
Right. He's definitely chopped. Yes. His acting
not as chopped as Barry. His acting
is chopped. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I can go into. I feel like there's one of the characters you haven't asked me a question about, you haven't talked about.
I was actually gonna get to that. So the thing is the straight love interest, Jenna Ortega, her character is really interesting to me because I didn't understand any of her motivations. Like she kind of just like tied him up and then started giving a Sparks Note version of analysis of the Weeknd songs to him, and they weren't even like super underrated songs. They were like the ones everyone's heard. So I just want to know, like, what was the like really like the deeper meaning behind that scene, if there was any?
So Jenna Ortega, she's really been asking me, hey, I need to get into a Daoud movie, and I said, well, Jenna, unfortunately, Rico's Revenge, it's doesn't really have space for you in there. I'm sorry. But I'm working on this other movie as a tax write-off for my buddy The Weeknd, Abel Tesfaye, who's deluded himself into thinking he's a great actor and that he could star in an awesome movie about his awesome and debauchery-filled but ultimately vulnerable and sad life, where he's just yearning, he's just longing for some real connection, except he really refused all of the scenes where I actually show him to be an explicit villain, where I show him to be a super flawed character, and he refused. He actually whenever I had a good script, okay, let me give you a sample of a good script sample that he refused to do. So we have this scene where this was supposed to be the original, like, so in this film, the conflict that The Weeknd has is that his ex, she hates him now, and he's so heartbroken, and it's making it so that he can't sing. And so he has to go perform because he's on the world tour. So this is kind of a Justin Timberlake style, this is going to ruin the tour, the world tour type of vibe. And in order to, but I thought, okay, so this is The Weeknd's pitch for the plot. I think it's boring as fuck. My pitch that I had is that following the beef, the Kendrick and Drake beef, The Weeknd was actually involved in that a little bit. There was actually a diss that a couple of disses between Drake and The Weeknd. There was actually a few disses on 2 different tracks where he says The Weeknd likes to do tricking for the boys, which for those, yeah,
and that kind of made its way in the movie.
Exactly, that he likes to buy these cars and these expensive gifts, but not just for the women. He does it for the dudes. And then he was also, Drake was accusing him of having these songs being played in clubs where the boys have more pride, which is to say, somehow Drake knew this information, that The Weeknd songs play in gay clubs. Now, Drake has not been willing to disclose how he knows that information.
But he probably signed an NDA. So we can't
he signed an NDA. He says, I can't tell you. Know. Yes.
Yeah.
And so this is what you have to realize about the real thing that was interesting in the Weeknd's life is he does have some connections to some of the gangs in Toronto. He has some connections. There's the Drake has some connections to different gangs. So I was saying, Weeknd, let's do a more fictionalized version of your character and set up the villain to be another guy, maybe a guy kind of a little loosely based on Drake. And maybe we can mix some other people in there so they can't say, "Oh, that's definitely based on Drake." We could talk about the story of when Take Care was being made and how Drake was, it could connect back to that. Drake, he used a lot of your writing. He used your writing credits, and then he kind of swept you away over the years, and you didn't want to sign with OVO, and you wanted to do your own thing. And it could be a journey. That how those choices and how you made Drake angry, those things start to come bite you in the ass and haunt you. And Drake is trying to ruin your life by sending Jenna Ortega into your life or something. Or maybe we don't even need a female villain. We can just she can just be love interest. Or we can go with the guy and the girl love interest. And we don't need spoilers. We don't need one of the love interests to kill the other love interest to prove that The Weeknd is straight. We don't need that. Just make it a bisexual thriller.
Grapple with his bisexuality.
Yeah, make a polyamorous, do like a big fuck pile at the end. We don't need this just have a 3-way. We'll film it. We'll film it very sensually.
So okay,
we'll have an intimacy coordinator. Make Drake the villain. And it'll be a storyline. I mean, come on, those are some stakes.
I feel like,
come on, I just came up with that.
I feel like I thought, wait, no, hang on, just came up.
I
thought you came up with that a while ago, and The Weeknd denied you the ability to do it.
I came up with it on the spot back then.
Okay,
when we were talking about it, and he spent all these years,
but
coming
he
up with
just
this stupid story.
So, hang on, so you gave him this detailed pitch, and The Weeknd said, "No, I want to do my own thing."
Yes,
or was it a tax write-off?
Okay, yeah. Even if it's it became a tax write-off. I had a passion project.
Oh,
I had a project where I said The Weeknd is the most streamed artist on Spotify.
Hurry Up Tomorrow was going to be your magnum opus.
Okay, let's not put words in my mouth.
But no, it was going to be, but
it could have been it could have been a magna opus. It could have been a
right. Your heart was really Enrico's Revenge. That's where your heart was.
Yeah, my heart is Enrico's Revenge. That's gonna be my magnum opus.
He cut it.
Doing part 2 was also there for me. That's one of my big ones. Me and
I thought you did part 3/2 or something.
Let's not worry about numbers right now. We're not talking numbers. This isn't the numbers podcast. This is
literally the podcast where we use numbers to figure out who goes to hell. So
okay. Well, spoilers. You don't need numbers for that. Okay, I already know who's going to hell, who's not going to hell. I already know that information.
Why weren't you on that episode? Weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whoever was writing that episode, they didn't think of that part.
That sucks.
So,
anyways,
yeah, but
I don't know. Is there any like redeeming did you put Easter eggs in the movie? Should I go watch it again?
There was one scene. I also said after we'd filmed the movie, I said, "Okay, are you sure we don't want to just make this a music video? Because it seems like we're using your songs. Seems really just like a glorified advertisement for your latest album." And The Weeknd, he's like, "No, it's not a glorified advertisement just for my album. No, it's like such a deep exploration of all the things that I've been through and all the things that I'm going through, but like I can't and then this girl, she broke my heart, but I kind of broke her heart because I'm such an awful guy, awful
honestly
guy.
I just want to know why are his problems so first world, and
I wanted to go at the nice hotel. So I put that scene in where instead of when we're in the limo and I'm with Jenna Ortega, instead of going to the bad hotel with Barry Queergan, we go to the good hotel, and then we have the breakfast at 4 p.m. and she's like, oh my god, I've never, this is a world record for the breakfast that I've had. And then I'm all but it's not a record for me. Yeah, so he was saying all of that stuff. There was a lot of impressions on impressions in that little...
I'm kind of wondering, how much of this movie was scripted? Because I'm not
sure.
Okay.
We filmed this scene where he gets bonked on the head, and then he goes into this trance, and then there's this horror scene that's actually quite compelling, I thought.
I actually had a theory that everything following that part of the movie was still a dream. Is that?
I was hoping I was expecting maybe not even going to a dream. I thought I also had suggested. So that's one of the main scenes I directed.
The plot is coming later,
right?
So
I directed
that. Right.
So the idea was that after it was actually supposed to be Drake who shoots Abel in the head.
Oh wow!
But Abel doesn't go into a coma. Abel, he's actually spiritually connected through all of his songs to all of these different fans. And Jenna Ortega, she has a special power that allows Abel to enter into this dream world. So he's in this dream sequence where he can remain alive for a little while. However, because of all of the women that he had wronged over his life, they all come to haunt him within this world over and over again. And he has to keep escaping them and keep facing his inner demons, very literally made physical through this dream sequence. That was supposed to be the rest of the movie. And then at the very end of the movie, the way that the movie was supposed to end was that all of these screaming banshees would try to consume him. and he would finally realize that his true love in his life was his homeboy, Barry Queergan.
Wow.
And at that moment, he finally comes to with the power of gay love. He awakens, and he goes to find his best bud, and just a long shower sex scene is the way that it ends. For like, it's a post-credit scene.
So Weeknd said that he didn't want to do this, or
The Weeknd did. We did film it. We filmed it. We filmed all of it.
Oh, wait, really? Because I was thinking, maybe he doesn't want to be nude on camera. I've seen some people suffer from an affliction like that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like never nude. Mm-hmm. He's not a never nude. Okay, so if anybody gets this idea that he's a never nude, just to be clear, anybody gets that idea, you didn't get it from me. Okay?
Oh,
you didn't get it from me. I wasn't the one that said he's a never nude.
All right,
but I will say, it was a wonderful scene. Everybody on the set enjoyed it, and ultimately the reason why it got cut.
That sounds a little unprofessional. Everyone enjoyed it.
Don't worry about it. Ultimately, it got cut due to the fact that The Weeknd wanted all these rewrites, and he wanted to do all these things. And Jenna Ortega, she suggested the part where she ties him up and dances around, and I was like, gee, I at that moment I was thinking maybe I should recast myself into it, so I could be the guy tied to the bed while Jenna Ortega is dancing around to Weeknd songs and yapping at me about how they sound. I mean, I don't know why I would want that, but
I'm wondering why you didn't go through with it if you kind of wanted it.
Well, the big man usually the big man in the movie is actually the producer, and ultimately The Weeknd was the producer of this. I didn't produce this. My hands were tied. The producers got to fully control all the stuff that was going on.
I think that's terrible that you're such a revered director with all these credits, but for some reason you didn't have any creative control on this passion project of yours.
Initially I had creative control, but this is the problem with The Weeknd and a lot of people, they don't know this about him, but he has this little bottle in which he contains like this soul-eating vampire spirit, banshee, and he can just if you're saying anything that he doesn't like, he does this all the time. We're in the green room, and he starts to unscrew it whenever one of the like PAs is not doing the right thing. And let's just say
that scared you. So The Weeknd using his devil magic
The Weeknd didn't scare me,
Satan
but there
himself.
was a PA there that I was fucking, and he kept threatening her. And
you don't approve of violence against women.
And I don't approve of violence against women. And I was absolutely abhorred by these actions, and I said, Mr. Weeknd, you can stop this. We can have the movie that you want. We can have you jerking yourself off for almost 2 hours, almost 2 fucking hours. Okay, for 109-minute runtime, you can start jerking yourself off over and over. Like, those scenes that you wanted where you're lifting weights in front of the mirrors, you can have 2 of them. You can have a scene where you're calling your ex and you're screaming into it, and you're like, you know what? I'm the fucking god. All these, in history, you ain't gonna be forgotten, but you know who they'll remember? They'll remember me. You can have those scenes in the movie.
I feel like it's kind of poetic because, you watch that movie and he's talking about how much everyone's going to remember him, but like, gun to my head, I can only name like 2 or 3 scenes of the whole movie. It was so forgettable.
Yeah. So anyway, are there any last few questions?
I just want to know my time here. Sorry, I just want to be maximizing the interview time. I just want to know, like, what kind of tattoo would you get if you were The Weeknd?
I would probably get like a tattoo of Barry Queergan on
kind of like right above
his
my face, and then his mouth is open around your dick.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. You get it. Yeah, you get it.
It's a wonderful tattoo.
It's a wonderful movie. Hurry up tomorrow. Out now. Don't watch it. Watch fucking Mission Impossible.
Which you didn't make.